Thank you, guys. Thanks so much. Excuse me. I'm going to do something real quick and call Imad back up here. Imad, Issamach. Yeah, Staz, Imad. I have a small gift and a small present for him. Imad is a great man, as you just heard him speak. That was pretty impressive. But he's also the reason this event came off tonight, of course, with all the volunteers. Without Imad, it wouldn't be possible. And we wanted to give him a small token of appreciation from our organization he's part of course, but just to give him constant memory that he can look at and just say, he did something great, he's saving lives, and he's such an important part of the PCRF and a part of Palestine. So Imad, thank you so much. God bless you for everything. And that last speech, if Imad wants to run for president of Palestine, he has my vote for sure. That was very impressive. And I can vote now in Palestine, have a citizenship. I'm going to start. I'm going to do a little presentation. I hope it doesn't get dull or anything like that. But I want to just really go over and show you guys how important your help was last year and the impact that it had. As Imad said, you know, the support that the Atlanta community has given to the PCRF has enabled us to save the lives of literally thousands of kids and build up a healthcare system which is really under extreme stress as a result of occupation, as a result of politics, the dysfunctional Palestinian political situation. All of these factors are having a big impact on the healthcare situation, and it's having the biggest impact on the quality of health for kids. So we want to talk about how you guys are having an impact in a positive way on the lives of Palestinian kids and even Syrian kids and kids all over the Middle East. But first, I want to congratulate all of you. I want to congratulate you all for surviving winter. I have to start. It's April now, so you guys made it through. Congratulations! And I know I live in Ramallah, as Yasmin said. So we heard about you guys sitting in traffic for a couple of days over there, and you had the sympathy of all of the Palestinian people. Believe me, for your suffering. And but we also had a really bad storm in Ramallah, where I live, in early December. It was terrible. It was the streets were closed. It was several feet of snow, it seemed like. And the schools were closed for 10 days, which my daughter liked a lot. And but the good thing about winter, and I know you're saying there's nothing good about winter. Well, when I was crossing into Gaza, the wall had fallen down. Winter had brought the wall down around Gaza. And I was so happy about that. Yeah, well, you know, Gaza is surrounded by this wall, as is now the West Bank. And, you know, it's a prison, Gaza. It's an open-air prison. And people say, you see it, it's this monstrous tower of cement surrounding, you know, all of Ramallah now, the West Bank, and in Gaza it's very imposing when you come in. And to see it in shambles and to see a simple snowstorm had taken it down is proof to all of us that this wall can be brought down. And we just need to stay strong and stay focused on doing our job to support Palestine, to support freedom, and to support justice, and that wall will come down, and there will be peace in Palestine and in Israel. So let's have hope. And as Yasmin mentioned again, I have traveled a long way for the last 2 weeks, and I want to tell you the hardest part of my job is not crossing into Gaza. It's not the checkpoints around Ramallah. It's not sitting at Homeland Security for a couple of hours when I land in this country, my country. It's leaving this beautiful young daughter of mine, Jenna. And I'm a single father, and I'm so proud of being a father of a Palestinian American girl. And it's the hardest part of my job. And I only do it, and I only did it because I love Palestine, and I love PCRF. And anybody who's a parent knows that, you know, even if you leave your child for 1 day or 2 days, it's not easy. And I've been away from my daughter now for 2 weeks, and it's extremely difficult. But the reward of seeing kids like Rowan walking again, and seeing kids like Osama walking again, and the thousands of kids that we're able to help, it's the only reason I can leave this beautiful girl and do my job for Palestine, is because the results that you guys are enabling us to do on the ground there. So I want to talk about those results. We are now an organization that has had a pretty big impact in the past year. I want to give you some numbers just from 2013 and to show you guys the impact that your support has had on the ground in Palestine. we did 63 kids went abroad for free care, and a lot of those were Syrian kids. We're now seeing kids coming in from Syria every day who need medical care. We are the main organization arranging treatment for Palestinian, Syrian, Jordanian, Lebanese. As you heard Tamara say before, we don't discriminate between Christian and Muslim, between Shiite and Sunni, between Syrian and Palestinian. That's not our job. We don't care about those things. Our job is to identify kids who need medical care and get them the treatment that they need. We did 38 missions in Gaza. There's no organization in the world bringing in volunteer doctors and operating on kids in Gaza and in the West Bank like PCRF. Not Medicine Sans Frontiers, not any other organization is even close to the type of work that we're doing. And we're not saying we're better than them. We're just having a much bigger impact than anybody else because of your support, because of the hardworking staff like Imad mentioned, who are really amazing, and I'm so proud of our group, and because of you guys and because of the volunteers here in the Atlanta chapter and our other chapters. Nearly 1,500 kids had major operations in Palestine last year. Cardiac surgery, neurosurgery, spine surgery, major operations that they otherwise were not going to get. That's 1,500 kids whose lives were changed because of you. And in some cases, lives were saved. So we really want to just let you know that this is having a big impact. Your support is being translated into the lives of kids being saved. And the impact that it's having is going far beyond just that child's health. It's having an impact on the families, on the society, and on the healthcare system. Because if you can't treat a child, if your healthcare system isn't able to take a child and get them the care that they need, like the case Imad mentioned from Nablus, the urological case, that child becomes a burden not only on their family, and I hate to say the word burden because it's a human being, but they become a burden on the family. You have a child who has a serious healthcare problem. It's chronic. It can't be fixed. It becomes a problem for the healthcare system. They're constantly going to the emergency room and trying to get medicated and so on. We're fixing it. And because of you guys, because of the PCRF, we're able to fix lives, change lives, and save lives. So the impact that we've had has been pretty big, and we're very proud of that. And we're going to keep going. We do a lot of humanitarian projects, wheelchair shipments. We did over 500 kids got wheelchairs last year. We have 2 containers now sitting in the West Bank ready to be distributed next month. These are very sophisticated chairs for kids with a variety of different kinds of disabilities, whether it's cerebral palsy, whether it's amputations or things like that. We're getting these kids really high quality chairs. We're doing summer camps. We do eyeglass distribution. So we have a very strong humanitarian component to our organization as well. And that's something you guys can follow our webpage and see. We're always putting forward kind of things that we want sponsorship for, individual cases, and we more than welcome you guys helping us in that way as well. So we have 2 anniversaries that I wanted to talk about tonight. In April of 2013, 1-year anniversaries, 2 of them. Imad touched on one of them. The first one, the most important one, I feel, for personal reasons and for professional reasons. On April 6th of 2013, we opened, and also it's partly due to your guys' support, the Huda Al-Masri Pediatric Cancer Department in Beit Jala. It's the first and only cancer department serving Palestinian children in Palestine. And before, kids with cancer, and there's about 120 kids in the West Bank and 120 kids in Gaza every year diagnosed with leukemia, diagnosed with lymphoma, diagnosed with different types of tumors. Those kids were not getting treatment within the Palestinian healthcare system because they didn't have a department, they didn't have a section of a hospital dedicated to treating these kids. And because of the PCRF, because of our chapters all over the world who donated, because of people who started campaigns, bake sales at schools, climbing Kilimanjaro, riding motorcycles across the world, we were able to privately fund the largest project in the history of the Ministry of Health in Palestine, the building of this cancer department in my late wife's name. So I'm very proud of that as a husband who wanted to dedicate and respect and honor a great woman like my wife Huda, who built the PCRF for 17 years, and more importantly, to solve a problem within the Palestinian healthcare system. Kids with cancer were dying. Kids with cancer were suffering. And I'm sure some of you have been touched by this terrible disease as well, and you know how terrible it is. Even in a place like Atlanta, where you have the best hospitals and the best doctors, you still suffer. Imagine under occupation how difficult life is when your child has cancer and he has to go across checkpoints, or if he can get accepted, or he or she can get accepted in Israel or in Jordan, they have to cross checkpoints. Maybe the soldiers won't let you. Maybe the checkpoint's closed. Maybe you don't have sponsorship or funds to get treatment. We solved that. Those kids are now being treated for free in Beit Jala Hospital, and I invite anybody here to come and visit that department. Come and see what you did, what we did together as a community. And this is an indication of what more we can do. This is just the start. We're able to do so much more. Let's not wait anymore for other people to solve our problems. Let's stop paying attention to John Kerry and his useless trips to the Middle East, and Obama's empty words, and Netanyahu's arrogance, and Abbas's impotency. We have a responsibility to do these kind of things. You have a responsibility as Palestinians, and we have a responsibility as human beings to solve these problems. So let's keep doing it, and let's not give up. The other anniversary that we have is on April 7th, the day after we opened the cancer department, was the first cardiac mission that went to Gaza. And as Imad said, it was the first ever open heart surgery on a child in the Gaza Strip. Happened because of your guys' support, because you made it possible. And now we've been able to do 12 missions in the last year. Teams from New Zealand, from Italy, from the United States, from Britain, from France, from Belgium, volunteering away from their families, away from their work, and they don't get paid anything. They come into our hospitals in Gaza, which is not an easy place to go. There's, the Israelis bomb it all the time. There's poverty. There's hard life there. They leave their families and friends and work and country to come serve your children. And all we do is make it possible. We cover their expenses and we organize the trips for them. And the result is that these kids are having life-saving surgery. Over 100 kids had life-saving cardiac surgery because of your support in the last year. It's not easy because Gaza is under siege, as you know. And Gaza is not only under siege by the Israelis, but also under siege by the Egyptians as well. So that siege in the summer of, when we came to you last year and we told you we have this project in Gaza, we want to do this open heart surgery, the border between Egypt and Gaza was open. And when the coup happened last summer and the border now is closed, the Egyptian government, is now penalizing the Palestinian people in Gaza by closing the border, meaning the medical supplies that were coming into Gaza, which was part of this program for the hospitals there, are no longer being able to be brought in by the Palestinian Ministry of Health there. So this has changed things quite a bit on the ground there, and we hope that we can overcome this problem. But here's some of the money issue, the how we spent the money that was raised last year. It breaks down the cost for you. Mainly, it's on the medical missions and running the Gaza cardiac program. When we started, we didn't have to buy oxygenators, we didn't have to buy sutures, we didn't have to buy tubing for the perfusion. To do open heart surgery on a baby who's 1 day old or 1 year old with a heart the size of a plum and a hole in that heart, the millimeter or 2 millimeter wide, that's a very complicated and a very difficult thing to do in the best hospitals. To do it in Gaza, in a new environment, coming in from outside as our foreign doctors do that, and working in a very difficult environment from a materials resource perspective, puts a lot of burden on our organization. Now, we have two choices. Either we say we're going to continue and keep working and take on the responsibility of covering whatever expenses that the Egyptians have imposed upon us by closing the border, or the Ministry of Health there is not willing to do because they don't have the resources. We'll take on that extra responsibility. It wasn't in the original plan, or we stop. And when we stop, kids die. So for me, it's not a choice. We're going to keep going, even if we have to pay more money, even if we have to raise more money, even if I have to leave my beloved daughter for another week. I hope not. But I'm willing to do it because I go to Gaza and I see the lives that we're saving, and I see little kids coming in with heart problems, with blue fingers, and who can't breathe very well, and whose parents are so worried and so sick with fear, and then I see them a week later walking out of the hospital with a new life. And for me, that's worth anything in the world. It's worth any amount of money. It's worth any plane trip and distance away from my loved family, because those kids are going to grow up and have new lives and bring joy and happiness to their people and to their families. So it's worth it to me. And we're going to keep going. We're not going to give up no matter what happens in Gaza. And no matter how it continues to impact the Gaza people there in a very negative way. We are very proud. And a few months ago, we are under a lot of pressure as an organization because the conflict in Syria is spilling over in the sense that a lot of the refugees who are coming into Jordan and coming into Lebanon now are injured kids. And we have a very strong commitment to helping children regardless of whether they're Syrian or Palestinian. And what's happening in Syria breaks my heart like it breaks all of your hearts. It's sickening to see 100,000 casualties in that great country. Those are deaths. Casualties are much more than that. Many of them children, and the healthcare system there has collapsed, and the situation there is only getting worse. our organization is being asked on a constant basis to come in and try to help these kids. And we are going to do that, but hospitals in Jordan don't treat kids for free like they do in the United States. Hospitals in Lebanon don't treat kids for free like they do in Europe. We have to pay for a lot of these operations because Syrian kids come in without passports as refugees. So we started a campaign and we did something which I'm very proud of, which we had 2 Palestinian amputees, one from Gaza, one from the West Bank, a boy and a girl, both who had lost their legs, climbed Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak, as a way to raise money to treat Syrian kids. What a great symbol, what a great sign of solidarity that you have injured Palestinian kids climbing a mountain to raise money to treat Syrian kids. We want to show the Syrian people they're not forgotten. We want to show the Syrian people also that Palestinians can give back to them. How many times, how many years was Syria helping you in your struggle, supporting you in your struggle? Now they need your support. And we're not, by helping Syrians doesn't mean we're taking away anything from Palestine. We can do both. There's no zero-sum game here. We can help Syrians, we can help Palestinians. It's our duty and our responsibility, and it's also our pride to do that. So we're starting to really work hard to address all Arab kids in the Middle East who need medical care, and we hope we can continue to do that as long as it's necessary. We hope it won't be necessary for that much longer. Unfortunately, all of you know that's not going to change anytime soon. I just want to show you some of the kids we're working with, and I'm sorry for the graphic photo, but that boy on the far right there is Mustafa from Yarmouk camp. As you know, Yarmouk is a refugee camp in Damascus. It's the largest Palestinian camp in Syria, and it's been under siege for over a year. The Syrian army has blockaded all exit and entry into the camp. They've had starvation in the camp, malnutrition. They've had, as you know, a huge number of casualties in the refugee camp. And this Palestinian boy is 15 years old. As you can see, was hit by shrapnel, and you can see how bad it devastated his mandible and his face. And this is him a few months later when we were able to get him into Lebanon. Now, we were approached by a Syrian NGO to help him, and we said for sure we want to help him, not because he's Palestinian, because he's a boy. We don't care what his nationality is. And we were able to find him. His dad's in prison. His brothers are in prison. He was with his mother. We were able to get them into Lebanon. Now they're in the Al-Hamshri hospital in Saida, waiting to go to Galveston, Texas next month for reconstructive surgery of his face. So these are the type of injuries we're seeing. Now these other 2 kids, I know Imad knows their story. Just 2 days ago, our social worker in Jordan sent us Eid and Yamoun. Is that an Arabic name? Yamoun? Or Yumma? Yamoun, perhaps. Sorry. I know almost every Arabic name because when doctors come in and we screen kids, I'm usually at the computer putting in the name of the children, and I've heard thousands of names. I've never heard Yamoun as an Arabic name. It's a beautiful name, but I've never heard it before. These 2 kids were injured in February. Both of them lost, well, the boy lost both of his legs, and the girl lost one of their legs by a bombing, and they also lost their mother. And they are now in Jordan, and we're working very hard to get them out for treatment as well. So these are the type of kids we're dealing with that are coming out of Syria now. And we're going to keep working hard to help these kids. And really, it's such a great honor to be able to help these kids. But it's a lot of resources. It's not easy. So our plan for the next year is to just expand and do more missions, because the impact that that's having on the ground there is saving lives. It's training doctors. It's building up the healthcare system. It's showing solidarity to the Palestinian people in Gaza, in the diaspora, who feel left out, who feel forgotten, who feel that the world doesn't care anymore about the closure, the siege, the injustice that's being committed against them. We're breaking that siege by bringing doctors from outside and treating their kids in their hospitals and training their doctors and bringing in medical supplies. That's a way you break a siege. That's a way you show them they're not forgotten. That's a way to show people there that we care, that we love their children, and that we support their struggle for freedom, for justice, and for peace. And we're going to keep doing that. We're not going to stop. So our plan is to just keep going ahead. Kids with cancer in Gaza cannot get to our department in Bethlehem. It's a siege there. It's a closure. To get a child out is very challenging and very difficult. We're going to build a cancer hospital in Gaza just like we did in Beit Jala. We don't have a choice. These kids cannot continue to suffer. I know firsthand. I cared for my wife, God rest her soul, for 6 months. And I know what it means to have somebody suffering from leukemia and the pain that they go through and the suffering they go through with chemotherapy and all of that. You need good quality care. They don't have it in Gaza. They can't get to our department in Beit Jala. We're going to build it there for them. We don't care how much it costs. We're going to do our best. So that's on the horizon, and we'll let you know about that. We're very proud that we have been able to build an organization that's been rated 4 stars 3 years in a row, the highest rating you can get from Charity Navigator, We scored a 70 out of 70 in transparency and accountability, the perfect score. And we're very proud of that because you as Palestinians, or people who love Palestine like me, you deserve an organization that is efficient and effective and transparent. You shouldn't rely anymore on corrupt leaders. There's no excuse any longer for organizations to not put in the hard work and dedication to serve Palestine. And if you feel an organization isn't doing the job that you deserve, that you expect out of your donor funds, if you think PCRF isn't doing the job that you expect out of your donation, then don't give. But if you want to help Palestine and you feel you want an organization that has been monitored by a third party and has been evaluated from a financial perspective, and you feel that's legitimate monitoring going on there, support us, help us. This is a way to save lives and have an impact. We've been endorsed by Jimmy Carter, as many other people as well, and we're very proud of the ability to build an organization despite the challenges that we face working in an occupied area, working with a population that are dispersed all over the Middle East. Now with the challenges of Syria, we're proud to have built one of the best nonprofits in the world. Not for Palestine, not for the Middle East, in the world. Charity Navigator, that gave us 4 stars, rates all charities, not just Middle Eastern charities. And we are among only 12% of all charities who've gotten a 4-star rating 3 years in a row. So we're very proud of that, and we hope that that translates into your support. 2 months ago, I received honorary citizenship of Palestine, and I cannot tell you how much of an honor and a privilege it was for me. I am an American. I'm a proud American. I love my country, and I think when you're born as a free man, as I was, that we have responsibilities that come with freedom to support those who are also struggling for the same rights that I was born with. My forefathers struggled, so I was free. So I am free, and we have a responsibility as free people in this country to help those who are not free. And there's no greater cause and no more just cause in the world today than the cause of Palestine. And I'm honored to now call myself also Palestinian. And it's a privilege, truly a privilege, to have an organization that is able to heal, not to destroy, to give love, not hate, to our kids in need, and to build, and to heal those who are sick, and to make the world a better place, and to show that Palestine is not forgotten, that people do care, and that we're going to keep working no matter what. No matter what happens, we're going to keep going forward and we're going to keep doing our job, but we're only able to do it if you guys make it possible. So I hope you guys will be generous tonight. I hope you guys will continue to support our work, hosting our kids. God bless you guys, and keep making our work possible. Without you, we can't heal these kids. We can't change the lives of Palestinian and Syrian kids. Without your support, the PCRF is not going to be able to do the job that we need to do. So help us. Help us keep doing the work that we need to do. And thank you guys for coming out. And thank the Atlanta chapter. God bless you guys. What an amazing job. So thanks so much.